Welcome back. KaNyamazane residents in Mpumalanga are holding a community meeting this morning to decide on a way forward. They've been protesting for over 2 weeks now because they want government to fix their homes that were damaged by hailstorms back in May. Now, Lindokuhle House has promised that President Cyril Ramaphosa will visit the area as soon as he can. Let's get you an update on the very latest development there. Our reporter Lindokuhle Xulu joins us now live. Lindokuhle, so there is an all-important meeting taking place this morning. Tell us what will be discussed there in terms of deciding on a way forward for KaNyamazane.
Well, Michelle, that meeting has actually concluded, but what we've seen inside there is a divided community, I must say, because a lot of people have raised the fact that what happens when we continue with the protest and what happens to the people that are still living in houses that do not have roofs, or those that have houses that were demolished. But the outcome of the meeting at this point in time, after a lengthy discussion among the communities, is that they will be continuing with the protest, despite all of the considerations that were stated inside. But I'm just going to take you, get a response from the community leaders who was delegated to go to Lindokuhle House and get the president to come to the area and just ask the outcome of that meeting. Dutugo, thank you so much for joining us. Just take us through the decision of the community.
Yeah, the community have spoken. They are not willing to retreat. They've just stated clearly that they want to continue with the protest until the President Cyril Ramaphosa come to the area and address them. That was the decision that has been taken by the community to date so far.
Tutugo, we understand yesterday you went with other leaders to go and get the President to come to the area, and you in fact had a commitment from the Office of the Secretary General. But what are we seeing now unfolding? Because the President has, rather the eNCA in Lindokuhle House is committed to come to the area with the President.
Yes, they've promised us that they will try all within their powers to bring the president to the area. But in the meantime, we cannot say take a decision that, for the people of this community. The people have spoken that they are going to continue with the strike until the president arrives. So in the meantime, while we are still waiting for the president, the people are clear that the strike will continue. As we're speaking now, they are embarking on that action until the president comes down, nothing less, nothing more.
The leaders of the community, we understand that there are people who are raising concerns about even elderly people living in these houses that do not have roofs. But how are we going to assist these people? Because you understand that even the contractors that the Premier is trying to send into the area to continue with the houses will be halted, and they want to wait for the President to come before anything happens. But what provisions are we making for these people who do not have houses, as well as those who are living in houses that do not have roofs?
As you've heard for yourself in the meeting, that point was raised, and the community vehemently actually take that decision out and said, no, we're not going to wait. We're not going to allow the contractors to continue doing the work, because that in its own very nature is divisive. It is division. It is divisive, so to say. It is dividing the people amongst our community. So allowing other houses to be actually fixed while other houses are still remaining, it is actually an element that is actually brought to divide the community even much further. So the community say no, let everything put on a standstill, so that when the project commences, it commences and cover all the houses at the same time. No other houses will be left behind. If the project starts, let it start, and all the houses be covered at the same time. That's what the people have said inside.
Just quickly, a last one, Tutugo. I was in the very same meeting, and the decision was taken to continue with the protest. But there hasn't been anything that was said in terms of making provisions for the people who are living in these conditions, as well as the pupils in school, because you understand that matric exams are nearing. But as the leadership of the community, elected to represent the community, what is going to happen to the matric pupils?
I will still reiterate my statement. I've responded to this question yesterday, and today you've heard for yourself that the people inside, they tried to raise that particular issue, but the community didn't want actually to negotiate or maybe to entertain that particular issue into detail. So by look of things, as the strike continues, I think the children who are supposed to go to school will be very much affected, because we don't see a condition whereby these kids will go to school at the very same time protesters protesting on the streets. I don't think it will be actually safe for our kids. So I don't want to comment much on that, because the community that was attending the meeting here today, they stated very clearly that the strike is going to continue. So ours that we can try to do is to make it a point that whoever is going to school or not, we will make it by our all means that they are safe, no casualties that would be experienced, because the safety of our kids is of utmost priority to us. So as they answered you inside, I'm not going to actually say that they will be going to school tomorrow or what. But the community stated that the strike continues. Ours is to make sure that there are no casualties that will involve young kids or school children.
Very quickly, because we are pressed for time now. So what is going to happen? What are we going to see now? Are residents going to take to the streets?
They've spoken for themselves. They are saying they are going to the streets. You can expect anything. I cannot be sure what will happen, but expect anything, because the community, as we're speaking now, they are embarking on their action that they've decided on.
Well, Michelle, as you hear it for yourself, the residents will be continuing with their protest until President Cyril Ramaphosa comes to the area. One more thing is that houses will not be refurbished in this process until the president comes to the area. So those are people who had raised issues such as pupils going to school, such as houses that people living in these conditions because of the damaged houses. All of those, matters fell on deaf ears, if I may put it in that matter. But the majority of community members here have decided that they will be continuing with the protest.
Lindokuhle, before we let you go, this issue of the protests continuing, pupils missing out on even further class time in the run-up to the final exams, I'm thinking particularly of matric students here. Any news from the schools themselves, from the education department, on steps to be taken to catch them up?
Well, it's the most unfortunate situation here, Michelle, and even further, I spoke to the principal of one of the schools in the area, and he says that he did communicate with a lot of principals around the area, but all that they know is that there is a strike. No one has communicated with them from basic education, from the districts around the area that are in charge of these schools. So they are acting on their own, trying to make plans and contingency plans and come up with solutions to how they catch up if the protest were to halt. But there hasn't been much communication on that matter.
All right, well, thanks very much for that update. Let's hope the schools there in the area can help those students stay on track as they prepare for exams. Lindokuhle Xulu tracking the story of KaNyamazane for us over the past 2 weeks. Lindokuhle House telling us that President Cyril Ramaphosa will visit the area as soon as he can.